Welcome back to the Foundation. This is Beethoven, and in this video I'm going to be showing you something interesting that you can do with your 808s. You've heard of the term before, and it allows there just to keep some attention, right? Some attention span listening, I suppose. But the thing about this is that it's you have to kind of recognize when you might want to do this, and maybe, which I'm about to show you, you don't want to have it play through all the time. Okay, and this idea might not work for every single beat, right? But for all intents and purposes, this is like a beat. This is a beat that focuses more on the actual beat than like the melody, right? Because honestly, this is the melody right here, and that's kind of it. I'm also going to talk about certain things that I did that I feel like filled up the space, so I didn't have to add a lot of stuff in it too. I think that's also important. It's because there's so many beats that have the most simple stuff in it, but why does it seem like that you don't have to add more to it? So as I try to figure out that stuff, I think I have the answers. So long story short, one thing that you can do with your 808s is not use a distorted 808, but add distortion to your 808. And it's when you want to add distortion to your 808. And just adding distortion to your 808, I would recommend adding distortion to an 808 that has more sub frequencies in it, like this one. Alright, because if you add distortion to an 808 that's already distorted, then you're just doing too much. And for a free distortion plugin that already comes with FL Studios, it's called Destructor. This is what it looks like. Turn off these other filters and just, play around with like the type of distortion options. Alright, but you might want to add distortion to your 808 when you want it to cut more clearly through the mix. But there's nothing wrong with the 808 that's more sub. Most likely with like the speakers that people are going to listen to, they're going to be able to, feel that 808. But if people have some garbage ass speakers, distortion is good. You know what I mean? But it also adds a listening element to it, right? The thing about distortion is that it adds harmonics to the 808. So if we can observe this 808 right here, let's get a equalizer. You can see through this plugin that I don't remember how to freeze. What's this? There's a freeze button. I just don't remember how to do it. Now you can see with this 808 that there's most of the frequencies in the lower end. Okay, I'm showing this to you because it's important. If these frequencies are in the lower end, there's a good chance that you probably should have a melody which has frequencies in these higher ends right here. You know what I'm saying? So adding distortion to this 808, which I'm about to show you right now, would only do this. Now, as you can see, it changed. You don't need to know the technical reason behind this, but you can see, if you just rewind the video, you can see that this pattern, these waveforms, these frequencies are more prevalent now, right? So if you have a melody that has frequencies up here, these are going to be clashing more with that melody, okay? So this is the whole thing that I'm trying to show you, because maybe you want to add distortion to your 808 when your melody's not playing. All right. The idea behind this is because silence is also a pretty good instrument. Okay. So, this is what everything sounds like. This isn't the best distortion setting to use, but when the melody cuts out, there's still going to be space used up within the spectrum of the frequency, because the 808 has become distorted. Now, that distortion doesn't sound amazing. That's just an idea for you guys to play with. Now, what you could do, right, technically, is take that back down. I kind of want to hear it do that. Kind of want to hear it like that. It's a pretty abrupt change, so it's like I feel like there has to be some other subtle things happening inside your beat to kind of like not make it sound so crazy. Obviously, you don't want to add that much distortion now that I'm listening into it, because this is my first time listening to that transition, by the way. So things that I added to not make the beat feel empty, even though there's not much to this beat, is this right here. So firstly, this saxophone that you hear, I basically cloned it. I panned it to the left and right. Does that really do anything? Maybe, maybe not. It really does something if I really like maybe affected the saxophones differently, maybe had different melodies going on with them, but very similar. But what I added to them was reverb, right? Because like it just needs it in a way. It's just too dry. This is without the reverb. And with the reverb, it just has more sound towards the end of it, which is called the tail, which fills up space, which I want in this instance. Not every time you want a huge tail of reverb, because then it'll start making your beat messy. Right, but it gives a sense of like there being more space. Maybe it's in the hall. I mean, I obviously have a setting for it, like probably like a plate. I mean, we could check. Let's see. Large plate. There you go. You feel me? Something else I did, very simple, was this shaker that has a little ping pong delay to it. Right? Without that delay, it's just one shake, and it's whatever. See? That's not interesting. But right, without this delay on, it hits right on the beat and is really short. It sounds right up front, but with this delay on, depending on the setting you use, you can do anything you want. Got a little reverb to it. It plays a little bit off the beat that it is already on, and you got to make sure that when you add delay to things, that it's on time with the rest of your beat and melody. It's because there's going to be other percussions and drums playing, and you know, adding delay and understanding timing is just maybe like an ear training thing, but I mean, you know, everyone knows how timing works. Like, when Blueface came out as a rapper, y'all heard how he was off time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's an art to be off time like that, to be honest. You know, they did this on purpose. But, yeah, so, like, this is more of, like, a percussive type beat, in my opinion. You know, I feel like I'd have to focus more on the drums. This is a beat, right? Because, like, I don't know what other melody I'd put in here. But when I get to this part where I'm thinking about distorting the 808, I'm thinking about putting another instrument, right? I really feel like this melody is like already like a popular melody. It's just super abrupt, you know what I mean? So I'd have to figure out a way to glue that together. But other than that, it's the idea.